Namaskar. Hello and welcome to PGurus channel. I'm your host 𝙒𝙖𝙦. It's not often that the host himself has technical difficulties. Today happens to be one such day, and it's my apologies to all our viewers to make you wait. But here we are. We're working with a plan B, and it appears to be working thus far. And welcome to PGurus. And today we have with us Major Madhan Kumar. We're going to talk about this recent thwarted terrorist attack in Jammu. How did it happen? What really happened? And there's also some other things happening on the other side of Pakistan, and we're going to touch on that also. So let's welcome the guest of the evening, Major Madhan. Major Madhan, namaskar and welcome to PGurus channel.
Namaskaram, sir. Jai Hind.
Jai Hind. And this terror attack, walk us through it, Major Madhan. Only cryptic news has come thus far. I'm hoping that you can shed a little bit more light on it.
Thank you, sir. And I would like to disclose my watch.
Me too. And I don't have anything on this side.
Okay, sir. Because I think it has become a norm now. You need to disclose your watches, and I don't wear any jewels, nothing, no rings. It's just a watch. Okay, sir. On the serious note, coming back to the business, yes, it is a major terror attack which was thwarted, and police have said that it's a chance encounter, which means that it was not a specific intelligence that police or the armed forces have received, and then they went and did an operation. This happened today morning at 7 a.m. and it was done by the J&K police, supported by the army as well. So it's a place called Sidra, which is a very beautiful location. It's a road which runs parallels to the Tavi River, Jammu Tavi River, and this particular truck, which was laden with fodder, the dry fodder, was moving suspiciously. So looking at the J&K police, had sent a QRT, a quick reaction team, because this is a time like December, Jan. The entire the military, the paramilitary, and the J&K state police will be on a very, very high alert because of the Republic Day, where this terrorists always try to do some adventures to gain some international attention. So they were on a very, very high alert. So on seeing this vehicle moving suspiciously, a QRT, a quick reaction team, was sent, and this particular truck was interrupted in the Sidra police checkpost. It's a well-guarded checkpost. They interrupted them. Once they were interrupted, the driver was very suspicious. He said, I want to be walked away to the bushes. It is a completely loaded fodder truck, dry fodder truck. So it's very difficult to actually check. You'll have to climb up the truck, remove a few of them, and then have to check. But it's an old technique which, even during my times in J&K, we have seen this kind of modus operandi. They'll have cavities inside the truck so that these guys are able to breathe and stay comfortably. They'll have all these weapons loaded. And on the surface, it will look like a innocent truck which is carrying fodder for the cattle. So they started searching. So the guys inside, they started panicking and they started firing. So once they started firing, the immediate any force will do is to come out of the killing range. You have to come out of the truck 100 meters, just cordon the truck, and then you start taking them on with this thing. So police had done it effectively. That's why we didn't even had a single casualty or even injury in it. It's a very, very dangerous operation because you've been fired upon and you don't know where they are actually hiding. So this truck was actually cordoned off, and later heavy firing was going on between both sides. So our security forces have overpowered them. They had fired enough of grenades and this thing. The entire truck was set on fire because it has got huge number of inflammable material, easily combustible material like a fodder, a dry fodder. So it immediately caught fire, and all these 4 terrorists were killed and charred to death. There are hardly any remains. They did a complete search. The water hoses were called in, the fire engines were called in, and they doused the fire and they did a search. Once they did the search, they found out, I think, 7 AK rifles, a couple of hand grenades, And surprisingly, they also found a M4 carbine. M4 carbine is a NATO weapon.
So the
So what?
American leftovers are making their way into India.
What we can easily assume is whatever that been left out in Afghanistan, it has been smuggled, sold in the markets of Peshawar. From there, these guys have taken up the weapon and got it all the way till here. So pistols, one NATO weapon, 7 AK. There is no evidential material in terms of printed materials or thing available, so that we can narrow down which terrorist organization which is involved. But this kind of movement is generally done by either by the Lashkar-e-Toiba or by the Jaish-e-Mohammed. Jaish-e-Mohammed carries out that sensational suicide attacks, so-called Fidain attacks. LET would have used road to infiltrate into Kashmir. So this is the highway which leads from Jammu. It goes all the way to Nakrota, which is the 16 Corps headquarters of Indian Army, 30 kilometers from there. And it also passes through Udhampur, which is the Northern Command headquarters, then it goes to the Banial Pass, crosses the Banial, enters the valley, reaches to Srinagar. So this is the National Highway 1 Alpha. So possibly these guys were planning to go into Kashmir, which is ideally Srinagar, because infiltrating from the higher ridges, it is very, very difficult now because of the snowfall. It is really challenging, and we have a very good surveillance system across the 760 kilometers of line of control, where they can easily pick up during a peak snow. So possibly they would have taken a road route. Now it's not yet confirmed, but we can assume, or we can analyze, we can narrow down to a thing that it they come from. They are not seem to be a domestic terrorist, because domestic terrorists generally they restrict themselves in South Kashmir, few districts of South Kashmir. They don't operate that openly in Kashmir, in Jammu, or even in the Poonch Rajouri sector of J&K. So possibly these guys would have, this is my assumption, I may be wrong as well. Possibly these guys would have infiltrated through the Punjab border. From Punjab, they would have crossed over to Kashmir to Jammu via the Pathankot. There is a place called Lakhanpur, where there is a state border between Punjab and Kashmir, Jammu and Kashmir. From there, they should have used. Now the truck owner is under search. He will be arrested, and the driver who was there will also be arrested. Then we will come to know who all were behind this incident, who all were providing the logistic support, and who is the terrorist excuse me, sir. The terrorist organization behind this crime.
Thank you so much. And if you want to take a sip of water, please feel free to do so, Major Madhan. And viewers, please like this video. We're going to take a look at some other things that have not really received much attention from the press. The press has been completely absorbed with wristwatches, as well as the new data that is coming from the 𝙒𝙗𝙗𝙗, of which we have also been doing some things interesting on our side also. So please like this video, and hopefully this will go viral. And we are waiting for Major Madhan to rejoin us, and here he is back. Major Madhan, the four terrorists that got charred and died, from looking at their bodies, can we determine if they are of an army bearing, or is it not possible?
Sir, unfortunately, they will not receive their Jannat. They cannot have their Jannat because they have been completely charred down to death. They have been completely burnt off. So we couldn't exactly find out what they were wearing and what kind of, were they in military fatigues, or were they of Pakistani origin. We couldn't exactly find out because they've been completely charred to death.
Well, see, yesterday, their chief of army staff, Asim Munir, said something. Now, it sounded like he was going to do something. I thought he was going to act on the west coast, but he chose to act on the east. I mean, for me, as far as I'm concerned, and again, like you said, I could be wrong, that it is the Pakistani army that runs the country, and therefore anything that happens from there has to have the blessings of Pakistani army, and therefore the army chief. So, what exactly was it that he was referring to that got his goat?
See, Munir is the new chief of army staff. So they have this habit of creating something sensational in our part of Bharat, where they would create some sensation. So it used to say that yes, see, I am arrived. I have arrived here. So this AK-47s, carbine, three pistols, ammunitions, hand grenades. This is for a bigger attack. This is all likely for a suicide attack, or they would have done some sensational planning, but they've been taken off guard, and now kudos to our J&K police and the forces there. They have thwarted this at the very very initial stage. So these guys, whenever they take over the command of their army, so it is to create an incident and tell us and tell their country that yes, I have arrived. Now Munir is the most radicalized Pakistani army. So
Yeah, he knows the Quran by heart. Why don't we say what it is? He knows the Quran by heart.
Yeah, he knows the Quran by heart, and he sees Pakistani army even in their. If you go to a very interesting thing, sir, if you go to their website ISPR, they say the Pakistani army is supposed to fight for the country. But if you read their vision, mission, and objective, they say jihad. We also conduct jihad. We also will conduct jihad. A professional army puts in his website that we will also be conducting jihad. To hold on the values of Islam and Islamic religion, we are the kind of custodians. So from the point where they started, at the time of partition, it was a British heritage army with a lineage, very, very strong lineage and very, very strong culture and ethos of the British. Long. So we chose to be secular. We have the Sarv Dharam Sthal, which is Mandir, Masjid, and Gurudwara, and the church. So everybody is free to practice their own religion. And this armed forces of ours, we take swear on our constitution, and we take the pride in defending our constitution. It is not pertaining to any particular religion, ideology, or a political ideology, or a religious ideology. Whereas this guy started the same way of protecting Pakistan, the Pakistani nationalism, and so told by Jinnah. Down 70 years, it's become a Islamic army, first of all. And which form of Islam is the Sunni form of Islam? And in Sunni Deobandi side, they all speak about jihad and this thing, which was relevant in the medieval period. It is no more relevant now. You can't be, fighting jihad, or you can't be conducting jihad on your own people just because they don't fit in your ideology. So that's how this transformation is. Now, when we speak about the incident in Sidra, we also should speak about another incident which happened very close by, which is 60-70 kilometers from there, near Udhampur. Indian Army has busted a IED. It's a 15 kg IED planted on the highway. And this was also busted with around 500 grams of detonators. It also had a code sheet. The code sheet is basically the cipher which they use, and also the letter pad of Lashkar-e-Toiba. So this was placed on the Jammu-Udhampur highway. So that was also spotted on the very, very same time. Because of the euphoria on the 4 terrorists being gunned down, so this news didn't get highlighted that much as the earlier news. So coming days ahead, from now on till 26th of Jan, where we'll be celebrating a Republic Day, our forces will be on toes, and we can see more number of these incidents coming up, because they will try to do anything and everything possible to create a sensation on 26th of Jan. And because 26th of Jan is the day, I assume the political leadership will announce elections for J&K. Somewhere close to Jan, elections for J&K. Once that happens, this call for Kashmir and call for this Azad Kashmir, Kashmiris getting bullified, Kashmiris are this, Kashmiris are that is going to get muted once and for all. So this is a very dishy attempt to do something in Kashmir so that they divert their local audience towards, here, see what we have done in Kashmir.
So, Major Madan, there has been a lot of casualties that they are taking on their western border. For instance, 25% of their oil tanks were, set on fire, allegedly by Baloch fighters. And also, they are having every day so many soldiers dying on the frontier post. Why are they not looking at that? They are still taking on casualties quietly. What is happening on that side, sir?
So the latest incident I can tell you, Baluch Liberation Front (BLF) launched an attack on a Pakistani convoy. It's a regular Pakistani army. They killed 5 soldiers, including a serving captain of Pakistani army. So this was done, and prior to that, a week before, BLF had done one more attack. It's in Makran coast. This is something somewhere very close to 𝙤𝙧𝙤𝙪, where 7 Pakistani people got killed. Now the number of casualties of the Frontier Corps (FC) and the number of casualties of the local police, that is just like a timer which has been ticking on a day-to-day basis. It's like a T20 score. It gets amplified. We cannot even give I spoke to one of a Pakistani journalists who today told me on one thing. I told him 3 days before. What he told me was, see, I am a journalist, so we keep visiting police stations because of one of the other cases which we have to collect information and put it on the newspaper and stuff. Now, the police in Baluch, the Pakistani police in Baluch, in Khyber Pakhtunkhwa province and in Waziristan, they have 3 layers of barbed wire fence. So he says just to enter the police station, it's like a maze. You have to navigate, and you have to protect your skin, and so that you don't get affected. And the police are poor guys have few low-end weapons. They are ready, and then they challenge you. So just to enter the police station, it takes around 25 to 30 minutes for a journalist. Now forget about a common public who wants to go and give a grievance complaint to the police station. So the law and order machinery is just not working. The police is scared to their death because they are the most softest target which they can be easily taken off. And last week attack by TTP in Bannu cantonment. So it is supposed to be a counter-terrorism squad. It's supposed to be a counter-terrorism squad, and counter-terrorism police station is there. That's there present within the cantonment. And now 15 of the arrested TTP Talibans, Tehrik Taliban, they took hostage of the Bannu cantonment. They shot down few officers. They recorded a video, went on live and said, "Boss, now give us a safe passage to Afghanistan. We need an aircraft which is carries us safe, drops us in Afghanistan, or you need to give us a passage. Otherwise, we are going to butcher these guys." Then later on, Pakistan army, when they said, "No, we are not going to negotiate," they did a daring announcement that we are going to take on them head on. We're going to do a special operation. But simultaneously, the back channel negotiations were on. They were using, speaking to the Afghani Taliban side and the Haqqanis to rescue their guys. Finally, they did an operation that was done by the most pioneered force of Pakistani army, supposed to be the special group. Special group took an officer casualty, and special group, 7 of them got shot in that thing. And the end of the day, they said that we have eliminated all the 15 terrorists. So the Baluch side, BLF and BLA both are upping up the ante. Why? Because they are also targeting Chinese. Now, why this sudden anger on Chinese? Earlier, if you see, we have discussed in our earlier shows, they were targeting installations, vital installations, mobile towers, the pipelines, the gas pipelines, the mining trucks, and the heavy equipments of the Chinese companies. Now they are going to launch, and they have been launching all-out attack on Chinese nationals. Why? Because they have got a CH-4B UAV. This is a made in China drone, which was used to eliminate almost 10 Baluchi leaders near the Gwadar area. Now, they clearly say Pakistanis on their own doesn't have the expertise or the knowledge to use drones for precision strikes. It was done earlier because of US. US was giving them drones and they were operating. Now the US drones are not operating anymore. US is not present. A very skeletal liaison officer held US presence is there. They are not present, overtly. But how do these guys have taken off 10 Baluchi leaders using a drone? Is with their own intelligence. It's a CH-4B UAV by China. Now they see this as a direct intervention by China. Now they say that we are not going to take anything more. This is going to be a no-hold-bar game. So for us, the Pakistani security forces were the number one targets. Now we will all put the Chinese nationals also as our number one target. So Pakistani army has currently launched Operation Bolan. It was started somewhere in October this year, 2 months before. Now Operation Bolan, basically instead of taking them on a hard combat or a hard kinetic operation, they have started using drones, targeted killings, picking up families, forced disappearances, and torture killings, and this kind of stuff. Now, when you do all this, we have already said that BL Baluchis are numerically less. They don't have the threshold to actually fight and outpower the Pakistani army. They're a very, very small number in group. But by doing this, they are actually increasing the anger of the Baluchis. Now, the Baluchis are not going to stop anyway. And the second side is the Waziristan, where TTP has declared all-out war. They have done Operation Banu, and they have been killing people, Pakistani forces, mercilessly. The police is just not working, and the Khyber Pakhtunkhwa and half of the province is actually not under the Pakistani rule. TTP. It's a hard Sharia law which they have been ruling now. And on the third trend, the last Pakistanis could have right now is so-called their strategic depth, their remote control state, their puppets or whatever it is, the Talibans. Now Talibans are firing mortars. Both sides have been firing at each other because of the fencing which has been happening in the Durand line. Pashtuni nationalism doesn't recognize an inch of fencing the Durand line. So they said, until or unless you stop fencing this entire thing, don't stop this nonsense, we are going to fire and we are going to kill you. Pakistani army is in direct face-off with Taliban army. Started using heavy weapons. It's no more a small arms game. They started using mortars and machine guns, heavy machine guns. On the other hand, TTP versus Taliban versus Pakistani army versus the Frontier Corps, Baluchis versus Frontier Corps, and the last tactical alliance which came up between TTP and BLA. Now TTP has got a very specific way of acting. They are basically trained fighters. They are very, very trained fighters. It's the same TTP which guarded the Afghanistan Kabul's airport during the Al-Qaeda attack when US forces were taking off. So the Afghan Talibans, they have fought Americans shoulder to shoulder. They have taken huge number of casualties. So they are not going to take anything less or anything more. This is going to be this is already in a complete mess. So they will attempt to do anything in our territory, Indian territory, so that to divert their people's focus till there. And we know what politically Mr. Imran Khan is doing to these guys.
Well, we've analyzed some of their interesting audio conversations, and we will leave that part out. You guys can get it. In case you're wondering where it is available, I heard it's available in Reddit and some other platforms quite easily. And I think they only released 2 tapes. I think that's an earful. Anyway, Major Madhan, we're having a little bit of technical difficulty from your side. I can't hear you clearly. It could be my problem also, sir. I just want to ask you one last question before we can see if there's any questions for you. The last question is, the NIA has been cracking down again in Kerala today. Do you have any update on that, sir?
So they have made 2 more arrests in Coimbatore. Basically, we have seen NIA had started with 4 arrests and then 5 more. It took up to 9. Today they have arrested 2 more. One is, I'll just read out the name. Sheikh Hidayatullah and Sanafar Ali. These both guys are from Coimbatore. Now the larger conspiracies, which is a bit worrying, they said that this entire plot has been discussed. This conspiracy was designed and planned in Satyamangalam forest. Asanur and Kafaras once Veerappan used to be very, very active. So they have been traced to this forest area. So the key conspirators now is one is Jamisha Mobin, the Hidayatullah and Sanafar Ali, these three guys, and one more guy who was arrested earlier, Mohammad Asaruddin. The four are the key conspirators. Earlier it was like, what Tamil media was actually trying to say is that it is a lone wolf attack. Lone wolf attack is any form of the definition of a lone wolf attack. This doesn't fit in. That's a fact. It's a clear conspiracy of ISIS. This terrorist, Jamisha Mobin, has taken a bayah. He has taken a swear on ISIS that I'll be executed. We got to know what was the target, which was the temple, Koteshwaran temple, all lately. Who are the key conspirators? We got to know this four. Now the $1 billion question, which is still yet to be found or yet to be announced, is who is the key handler here? And we also discussed about the Mangaluru blast.
Yes.
So the guy who was involved in Mangaluru blast, we said that he visited Coimbatore in a pseudo-Hindu name. Now, whether these two incidents are connected, whether this as a common handler, the handler is operating from India or he is operating from any other country, is what will come out in the coming days. But in the system and people, officers who are working there, they say they have been working 16 to 18 hours and along with state police, a team of state police. So they are going to go all out and leave no stones unturned in uncovering the entire this thing. What happened in front of the temple is the final outcome of it. But the conspiracy, who and why, is yet to be found. But very soon we will see this entire thing get busted, and we have got very, very good NIA team. They will be cracking it.
Thank you very much, Major Madan. And let's see if there are any questions for him. Question from Chakravyuh Bhedi. In the Staff College Quetta yearbook, Asim Munir was described as a deceiver by his course mates. He is perhaps the only chief who has worked both in MI and ISI. What is the signaling by these attacks?
See, the signal is very clear, just to announce to the local audience that yes, I have arrived. I have arrived. Look what happened in Kashmir. Second thing, he is under tremendous pressure. He is on the job from day one. He doesn't have the so-called honeymoon period. His entire country is burning. His people are getting butchered by TTP, by BLA, by BLF, and by Taliban as well. And on the other side, the law and order, the state police, just nobody is willing to go and serve in this remote area. There is a certain amount of province in Waziristan which is not under the control or not under the rule of the Pakistani administration. So a better way is to do something sensational in Kashmir and divert it.
All right. Next question from Hrithik Great. Is ISIS-K a proxy of America to keep check to Taliban?
See, ISIS-K, I don't think so. Americans would be foolish enough to do the same mistake again by keeping ISIS-K as a proxy. ISIS does have support of few nations. ISIS is an offshoot of the erstwhile Al-Qaeda, and people who didn't find their role in the Taliban administration. They all get some post, something to earn and settle. So that's not happening. So this guy is only fighting. They're just trained fighters. They don't know anything else. So they move into a different ideology of, having their own Khorasan Caliphate. It may have pockets of American influence, but I don't believe so that America will be doing the same mistake once and for all and after the 9/11 incident.
Next question, Rajagopal Sukumar wants to know, can't we pin the responsibility on US for this carbine?
No, we can't, because it's a NATO weapon, no doubts. But there is no proof that they have given it to the concerned terrorists. It's just been left over in Afghanistan. It can come down. We can raise a concern, but even this one weapon is not even worth for it.
Next question from Bharani Chandar. What do you think of the chances of China attacking India to polish over their current internal problem?
That was the classical attempt which was done in Yangtze sector in Taiwan. They did that. They attempted that. Many of us were asking, many of you guys were asking, why can't we post a video? We also need to be very sound in the propaganda war. That video will be out in a matter of some time. In matter of time, they have been kicked. They've been captured. They've been kicked, and they've been treated in the way they deserve. And then it was China who called for the flag meeting, and it's a China which seeks bilateral, unconditional dialogues over this. So they attempted once. In future, they will attempt more. We can expect.
Now, I'm also hearing that about 15 of the Chinese soldiers were attacked by the clubs they were carrying with nails on them. And these were grabbed by them. The quick response team grabbed those and hit them back, and they kept pounding their heads. They said 10 to 15 people definitely don't think they'll be alive. Any update on that, Major Madan?
Sir, these guys don't declare. They don't declare any casualties. They don't declare anything. But what we got to hear is there is one media post of Weibo where I think a colonel level officer of PLA, there was an obituary which read that he died in a accident. We don't know what sort of accident it is. But basically, they just posted his photo and they said he died in an accident. Let's pray for him. But these guys are not going to accept anything. And end of the day, it's not about the numbers, how many we killed or how many injured. It is a fact that we retaliated at the right time, and we retaliated to an extent that they ran away. That's the core point here. Number game, like 5 of our soldiers, 10 of their soldiers, it's a social media game. I don't believe in it. It's a good thing that we responded and we declared that we have responded.
Thank you, Major. And next question from Rajgopal Sukumar. Will Pralay have a need against Pakistan?
See, Western theater, we depend more on tanks. We are going to go for light tanks, which weighs less than 25. Yeah, battery of this will help, but this is predominantly prime China, because China has a rocket force. We don't have a dedicated rocket force as of now. So the Pralay is basically to take on Chinese air defenses, Chinese air bases, and Chinese radars. That's the 3 precise targets which Pralay is meant for. And it costs 1/10 of BrahMos.
Wow. Magnet Ranga wants to know, Namaskaram, Pak is financially bankrupt, but where do they find the money for these ops?
See, they beg from Saudi, they beg from Turkey, they beg from US, they beg from IMF. They've been just out of FATF grey list. They are in the white list now. And a lot of money comes from the illegal trade, basically the drugs and weapons.
Opium? Yeah.
And China also keeps funding them. They are just alive. They are alive to be, they are secret alive so that the nukes doesn't go off, and they keep creating this nuisance in India.
So, just for our viewers' sake, because you guys are fairly young, in the 1962 war, the Chinese had actually cut Tawang off from India. I think Jawaharlal Nehru even said goodbye Assam or something to that effect in a speech. Although they went back, they receded on their own when they saw that America was trying to send, or actually sending pilots as well as fighters, and they were landing in Kolkata. That's when they pulled back. Now, the same attempt, I think, was what was tried this time too. Any thoughts on that, Major Madan?
So things have changed dramatically now. We have really upped our ante. Like this attack is not new in Yangtze. Yangtze, they've been trying time and again. Last time they did a unilateral withdrawal, automatic withdrawal from that place. One was due to the American threat, and second because they were very, very far away from their base. They didn't have the logistics to support the invading troops.
Supply chain, yeah.
If the Indian political leadership would have given a go, And if they would have given a go-ahead and logistic support to the Indian Army to launch a counter-offensive, things would have been very, very different. Now, when I say this, people may have different views that, this ifs and buts. We are the losers. You should not be having ifs and buts. Agreed. But logically, they withdraw because they couldn't hold on. They didn't have the base, real support to hold on. They didn't have the reinforcements. If you would have launched a counter-attack, it's no way. They have to fight last man, last bullet. But today, things have changed. They have created that military villages close by. They have a very, very solid base. And so us also. We have a very, very closely monitored post in the entire Yangtze sector and in Tawang. We have 2 divisions to take care of it, and then we have a reserve division. I don't want to disclose the location, just in case if something big happens. It's the 3 divisions make a. So 3 divisions make a core. So we have a huge force there. So nothing of that sort is possible in today's scenario.
I think the signal is getting a little spotty, so we're going to take this as the last question and no more questions. Last question, Rajgopal Sukumar, given the situation in western front of Pakistan, is it not the right time to take over PoK and Gilgit?
I don't think so, Mr. Rajgopal. Why? Because if we launch something today on PoK, that is again going to give an opportunity to their army and to their the civilian government to unite their people again. It's a golden chance given to them in a platter. All of them will come back in terms of Pakistani nationalism. This country is imploding. It's imploding on its own. Balochistan on one side, Sindhis are not happy. The Waziristan Pashtunis are not happy. Khyber Pakhtunkhwa is not happy. The Pakistani occupied Kashmir is not happy. So there have been protests across, and there have been a high level of political instability. It's in a complete chaos. Let them break on their own. This is going to happen eventually. In a matter of time, this is going to happen. If we launch something today, it is again going to unite all of them put together on a common enemy called India. So to go and do it today, they will implode. There will be a time where the Pakistan occupied Kashmiris, the Kashmiris living out there, even in Gilgit, Baltistan, they would launch an offensive like BLA and TTP, and they would seek the support of us. We are the true owners of Kashmir. In that sense, we can then take them on. That's what the Northern Army commander indicated indirectly, that we are ready. It doesn't mean that we go on a war today. Let's the time ripe. I think we need to wait.
Thank you very much, Major Madhan Kumar. And this is the last question for me. Mandar, what do you want to know? Where will we get your SSR book? Mandar, the book is going to be in print very soon. Stay tuned. I'll keep you all informed on that. So thanks for the question. So we will be keeping you all posted. And I think that brings us to a close of today's session. Major Madhan Kumar, as always, a pleasure to have you, sir. And I apologize for keeping you waiting. I don't know what's wrong. My computer is playing hooky today. I had to go back to an alternate source to communicate. Thank you very much. Namaskar.
Thank you, sir. Namaskar. Jai Hind.
Jai Hind.